Okay. This card is about to get cracked out and resubmitted. Is this a 7? I don't think so. Hi, my name is Brian. I'm the High Pop Professor, and today I have a PSA grading reveal to share with you today. So without further ado, let's go ahead and turn the camera around and see what we got back from GameStop. Okay, so let's go ahead and see how PSA did with our 7-card 90s order that we sent in through GameStop. This was an order that was sent in October 2nd, and I picked it up on the 15th of December, although honestly it was ready a couple days before then. And yeah, let's go ahead and get started, see how we did on our 7-card 90s order. So the first card we got here, this is a 1995 Collector's Choice Gold Signature. Oh, almost forgot. Almost forgot my hat. There we go. Collector's Choice Gold Signature. Look at this beautiful card. You know, I had some misgivings about sending this in. It's one of the best looking cards I'd ever seen like this. The issue was there is a little bit of a, yeah, right there on the edge. You can kind of see, I don't think you'd call it a little crimping on that little top. Same with the bottom, just a little bit of crimping, but you have to hold it right in the light. Otherwise, the corners do look just about perfect. But as we know, sometimes PSA misses things because they don't put it in the light, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, so when I sent it in, I was hoping for a 9. And then after I thought more about those crimpings, I was like, you know what? They're probably going to give me like a 7 or something silly. But even if it's an 8, I'm okay with it. And let's see what they gave us. They gave us a Mint 9. Hey, okay. Very nice. This is the kind of a card that's probably around like $10 or so. But then in a PSA 9, it's a pop 8 with only 1 higher. And so I think that adds some pretty good value. You know, it makes this maybe like a $40 card. And so, you know, we'll call this maybe, I don't know, $15 of added value. And I call that a huge success. All right, our second card is a very similar type of card. This is a 97 score white border artist proof, Greg Maddux. And, you know, this one looked really good to me. The centering was off. And I think the centering was just off a little too much to be within 10 tolerance. But I was thinking this would be a PSA 9, really clean card. And what do they do for us here? We got Mint 9. Okay, we got it. All right, so actually we're 2 for 2 on 9s. That's what we're doing. This in a PSA 9 is a pop 1 with 0 higher. And so that's incredible. That's really great. Same kind of deal as the other one. I think in a PSA 9, this, again, I don't really know. These don't exist, so I don't really know what the value on this would be. I'm going to guess similar. I would say maybe, I don't know, maybe $40. Who knows? It's pretty tough to get these in a Mint 9, I will say. For 90s cards, pretty tough grade, and just in general. So I'm going to say maybe, you know, maybe an extra $15 value add for that one. All right, and so our next card is going to be a 2000 Topps Power Players Ken Griffey Jr. And this was one that I actually did not include this on my pre-grading analysis video. I kind of snuck this card in last second. So let's just do a quick little once over here, and you tell me what you think this card might grade out at. You know, see how good our eye is. But I will tell you, it looked pretty darn sharp to me. The edges, the corners. Yeah, I mean, this is a beautiful card. Check out this. Woo! Check out this holofoil, this dot matrix shine. Look at this. How clean that is. Yes, indeed. Yeah, not an expensive card. You know, I probably paid about $10 for this card at one of the past Philly shows I went to. Just a lovely card, found in one of those dollar boxes. Not for $1, but for about $10. All right, so what do you think? You know, it's a clean surface, clean card. What grade would you give this? You know, I was thinking probably a 9. You know, if it gets a mint 9, that's a nice value add. Would I be shocked at a 10? A little bit, maybe, but I mean, I didn't see anything wrong with it, so, you know. Well, PSA gave us an 8, near mint. And so, you know, I don't know. If you would have told me this was a 10, I wouldn't have actually been all that surprised, I guess, but you know, but by the end of this video, I have something to say about the more modern grading of PSA 8s and that condition tier specifically. But we'll come back to that one. But anyway, you know, I think in a PSA 8, this is probably about a $30 card, and so it's probably a wash. I don't think I added any value to that card. Although I really think that could have easily, I feel like it should have been a 9, and it even could have been a 10. But, you know, what are you going to do? All right, here's a cool card. Ooh, all right, we have Tony Gwynn, Gallery of Heroes from 97, Topps Gallery. And just a stunning card. Tough to see it well without the backlight on there, but you can, of course, see through it with it being acetate and the stained glass. And this card, I think this was a card that once I looked at it, I was thinking, you know, anything that... Like this is one of those cards that no grade but a 10 would have made sense for this card. It was effectively a perfect card when I did the analysis video. And most of the cards I send in, I'm going for 9s. So I don't say that about most cards that I send in. Let's see if PSA agreed with me. And boom, there we go. Gem Mint 10. Awesome. Okay, so this was about a $25 card when I purchased it, 25 to 30. And so right now, this card, so plus the $21.99 grading fee, I got about 50 into it, and this is about a $160 card, so that's a nice value add. That's a $110 profit there, and it's a 10, so I will be selling this. I have to, and if I'd like to acquire another one, I will acquire another one for $25 and use the difference, the pocketed difference, to either add more cards to my collection or send a few more cards for grading to hopefully again add more value. Okay, coming up next we have a 99. This is a Bowman Chrome International Refractor. You can see the serial numbering out of 100. It's a fairly big boy card, and this is the card that I actually cracked this out of a PSA 7. I bought this card for $100 in a PSA 7 a while ago, probably about 2 years ago. And it just looked like way better than a 7. I mean, yeah, you know, it's got, you know, a gigantic refractor line. I get that. But all things considered, I thought it was really clean. Yeah, he's got a little dimple by his butt. Yep, that's true. And once I cracked it out, I did see there were some very, very light surface scratches next to his head. The point was, I was hoping that they would regrade this and I would get a grade bump from a 7 up to an 8. And the reason why was because just recently there was a PSA 8 that sold for, I believe it was $328. And that's a pretty big hike up from $100, which is where I bought the 7. I believe there was an ungraded one that also sold for about $100. So, you know, in this case, for a card of this magnitude, of this caliber, a PSA 8 is a tremendous value add, even above a 7. So let's go ahead and see. I don't do many crackouts. I really don't. I mean, I can count on, one hand basically the number of crackouts I've done. Well, maybe you have to go into the second hand for it, but still, not a bunch. I don't do it all the time, and I certainly I haven't done it recently at all. But let's see what PSA gave us. They gave us a... Ooh, there it is. PSA 8. We got the bump. There we go. Oh, you know what? And I was I was keep forgetting to do all these pops and everything. You know, we'll do this one. I'll put the other ones back up there too. But so this Bowman Chrome International Refractor, this is a Pop 9 with only 3 higher. And I believe that all 3 of them are PSA 9s. I think there's actually no PSA 10s of this out there. And I actually have seen this refractor line on a bunch of other ones too. So I don't know if that's you know, not sure what the deal is. But the point is, this is a so Pop 9, 3 higher. And once again, you know, this is like a $200 value add, you know, because I spent $100 on the card and then $25 to grade it. So if it's worth $328 or $325, whatever, that's $200 of you know, extra value being added. Let's go back to the pops on this one. The Tony Gwynn PSA 10. This is a Pop 22 with 0 higher. Obviously, it's a 10. And then back to the Power Players Griffey. This is a little bit of a higher population. It's a Pop 51 with 230 of them higher. But that's also what you get. You know, it's Topps. You know, Topps flagship. It's gonna have a lot of cards made. This isn't serial numbered here, and so that's kind of what we expect. Okay, moving on. Okay, now this is a huge card. This is the card. This is why I created this order, was because of this card. So let's put the hat on here. And this is a 1998 Donruss Signatures, Significant Signatures of Sandy Koufax. And this is the refractor version. So Koufax has a couple different variants of this card. He has, of course, he has the non-refractor. Almost every other card in this set was a non-refractor. But Koufax and one other guy had, I think it was Nolan Ryan, had redemptions, and they had refractors as their redemptions. Koufax on the other version also has the Brooklyn Dodgers hat instead of the LA Dodgers. So it's a little interesting. And he does his autos in blue ink instead of black ink. Anyway, there's a bunch of different differences between those cards. Almost all of the autos are somewhat streaky and or faded. This one's a nice bold auto. It's a little streaky if you look at it. So I wouldn't want to grade the auto, but it's still, it's bold, it presents well, and I was excited about this card because I picked this up as a sort of a big, you know, a cash trade deal, you could say. I sold a bunch of cards and used the money to buy this, so you could almost think of it as a partial trade. But bottom line was, I bought this at the fall Philly show, and basically I bought it for $400, ungraded. And I got really excited because I'm looking at the condition of this card and I just saw that it was effectively perfect. I think this is on the case. Yeah, see that little thing is on the case. And I couldn't find a single thing wrong with this card. I saw nothing. There's a fingerprint on the case, but I saw nothing on the edges, nothing on the corners. And I just got really excited because I'm thinking, man, if this thing comes back a 9, that's going to be a tremendous value bump. That's a pretty low population on there. And, okay, now I got to check this out because I don't remember there being, I see a little ding on the back there. And I do not remember that being there. I'm going to have to go back and check my pre-grading analysis video. I do not remember seeing that there. I think PSA may have damaged this card. Let me keep on looking here because yeah, I mean, the rest of it, it's fairly minor, but again, it doesn't take much to ruin if you have what otherwise would be a PSA 9 or a 10. I didn't actually see anything wrong with this card when I sent it, so this little ding was not there. Again, I'm going to go back and verify with my pre-grading analysis video. I have to watch it again. So this is the first time I'm looking at this this close up. I was thinking that this could be actually had a shot at a 10. And the question is now, I've received PSA 10s from them with dings like that on the back, because sometimes they damage it after they grade it. So let's see what PSA did to us here. Okay, all right, so near mint 8. You know, interestingly, with that ding on the corner in the back, I sort of agree. I think that this card currently is perhaps in a PSA 8-like condition. But again, I'm gonna have to. Yeah, I don't know what kind of recourse there is here. I was really hoping for possibly a 9 or even a 10, which would have made this probably a comic card. But I guess that's to be no more. But anyway, okay, so PSA 8 it is. This is a Pop 11 with 27 higher, and of course you see the card is numbered out of 2000 on the back, which is just fine. What's interesting about this though is that it's hard to find a card. There's only 11 of them in the world. They're not always going to sell very often, and if they do, maybe it's the Brooklyn Dodgers uniform and hat instead of the LA Dodgers, so it's a different variant. It's not the refractor kind, and so I couldn't really find a good comp for it. But what's interesting is that PSA offers. They actually sent me an offer a little bit above $500, and so this even in the 8 condition appears to have added about $100 of value. I'm not going to sell it through the offers right now. But I'm curious about the condition. Man, I have to go back and look at that. That's, very interesting. Very interesting. Okay, final card. Forget to put this hat on. All right, final card. We have 93 Donruss Diamond Kings, Ken Griffey Jr. This is a card I got for between $5 and $10. I probably paid about, I don't know, $6 to $8, something like that. And I sent it in because I couldn't really find anything wrong with it. And I just know that PSA 10s, they had been selling for like, $300 over the summer, and then $600 in the fall, and then we hit $800 just recently, like in November. And I'm thinking, what the heck is going on? So yeah, we put this in and said, let's give it a shot and let's see what we can do. This is about the cleanest copy that you're going to be able to see. And it almost looks like a touch, but that's still green though. I don't know. Tough to say. And that almost looks like a touch right there. All right, well, let's see what they did for us here. It's a amazing, beautiful presenting copy. If anything, the one thing I thought that would prevent this from getting a 10 is the centering. And the centering, there's two things to check for. Obviously, these little circles, the distance side to side they are from the border, which is actually pretty good on this card. But I'm worried it's a little too thin on the top and a little too thick on the bottom, which ironically, it's more of the artwork. It's more of the picture of Griffey that's down there. You can actually see his belt and a little below his belt, like up here, you're not missing any of the image by thin slicing the top like that. I think it presents better anyway. But let's see what PSA said. I was thinking this would be a 9 was my prediction. Obviously, hoping for the outside shot at a 10. Hey, I've seen PSA completely disregard their centering tolerances before and give cards a 10 that had no business being a 10. So what did they do here? We got a PSA 8. Okay. All right. So, okay. So PSA 8s. So I got a lot of PSA 8s back in this order. This is a Pop 182 with 276 higher. And like the other ones in a PSA 8, this is probably about a $30 card. And so probably a wash. I don't think I lost any money on this. I didn't really add any value. I made back the cost of grading, I guess, with that grade. So yeah, I didn't lose anything. But here's the sort of the moral of the story here. We got an 8 here, we got an 8 here, we got an 8 here, we got an 8 here. We got all these 8s, and one thing that I'll say about these 8s is that these 8s look fantastic. Oh my gosh! And so I don't know, like, one of my takeaways from this experience is that their grading is harsh as ever, because usually I try to be pretty fair and pretty realistic about the cards that I send in, and I try to only send in the ones I think that are financially viable and worth it to do so. But and I'm pretty sure they're going to get like 9s, except for this one. This one I was hoping for the 8. But the other ones I thought really should be a 9 or maybe even a 10 in some cases. And the fact that they're 8s, what that tells me is that I probably need to be buying more PSA 8s. I'm sorry, but the quality of the card you are getting, as harsh as they're being, check these 8s out because they look incredible. And so if you're looking to add to your own PC, to your collection, seriously, give them another look. Like, are you buying the card, or are you buying the flip? They're buying the grade. If you are buying the card and you don't care about set registry, you don't care about a piece of plastic, or I don't. I put stickers on them all. And it's the only time I have them on. I'm talking about grading orders, so yeah, the numbers it's all about that. But but if you don't care otherwise about the number, you just want a nice presenting copy of the card that you like the look of, seriously, check out these 8s. In my opinion, these modern, very recent PSA 8s, you can't beat the value. The quality of card for the price that you would pay is completely unmatched. I think in almost any other era, these are 9s. these are 9s, or even 10s. I mean, gosh, you look at some of the older 10s. These would easily fall into that category. And so, I don't know. I'm a little baffled. I came away, pretty well. You look at all the value I added with these 7 cards that were submitted here. Of course, here's our one gemmer that we had here today, and we got a couple other nice PSA 9s up here as well. We did add some nice value, and so we added a total value of about $440 to what we had, and that's above the cost of grading. And so we did very well for ourselves here, even despite some of the unexpected 8s. But yeah, that just, threw me for a loop. A little bit unexpected there. But anyway, thank you for joining me, and I will see you in the next video. Let's see here. You can see, even just through the sleeve, how good those corners are. There's no scratching, no nothing. It is just as it should be.